All right. We just started. So, all right, before we get into Lee Priest going to Italy. So listen to this.
We're listening.
Listen, yesterday I'm at work. Now, if you guys ever in my backyard,
Jay just had a blackout.
I had a
Not my wife. She's sitting with the lights off. She wants to relax.
oh well, I have a retaining wall in my yard, right behind
Mhm.
my pool, and that's where my property ends.
Yeah, behind
Right,
the pool.
right above that, that's somebody else's yard. Okay,
Mhm.
that person planted bushes across their property.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes those bushes, you know,
Hanging
they
over
grow
your
and they
wall.
hang over into the property. So my wife texts me that she's doing yard work and she's going to trim the bush that's hanging over to the yard. I said, okay, whatever. Then she calls me a little while later. So I pick up the phone and I go, what's up? She goes, I got into an argument with the lady that lives behind us. I said, why? She goes, because I trimmed their bush. I said, well, did you go on their property? She said, yeah. Well, I said, how much of the bush did you trim? She goes, I trimmed a significant amount so that it won't go over our property anymore. I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. It's probably nothing. No big deal, right? Go home last night. Fucking cop comes to the house.
Really?
Swear to God. Cop comes to the house. I see my wife go outside. I go outside and I say, what's going on? Lady around the corner calls the cops. I go into the yard with the cop and my wife. There's no bush left.
Oh, she cut the whole fucking thing down.
This is what she did. She took a ladder because you got to go up the retaining wall. She took my 6-foot ladder,
Yeah, you can't do that.
right? Goes on their property. We have an electric chainsaw. She takes the chainsaw and she just fucking cuts the whole thing out.
So you're,
If
only allowed
this is
to,
your wall, if that's
you're
your
only
wall,
allowed to cut what's coming over into your property.
Yeah.
yeah, like if that's
So
the wall and the bush was coming over the wall,
You
no,
you
cut
cut
that much
back
off.
so it's in line with the
no,
wall.
no.
Yeah.
She
She
cut
cut
the
the whole bush. The
He
whole
just
bush.
cut. There's a stump left. That's it. Right, right, right. So now I go, I go into the yard with the cop and my wife, and of course, women being women, my wife is trying to defend herself and justify it. Yeah, but it's been hanging over, and they don't take care of their yard, and look how terrible that looks, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, Alyssa, stop, just stop talking, stop talking. The cop's like, well, you did go a little overboard, and I was like, look, just tell them that we're sorry, and it won't happen again, okay? So
Of
I
course
went
it
into
won't. She killed the plant.
You killed the fucking
That's gone.
ain't coming back.
So I went into the house. I said, there's no bush left. You cut the whole thing out. She goes, the guy told me last year that I could. I was like, I seriously doubt the guy told you last year that you could just remove the whole bush. Right. And she's like, what was I supposed to do? I was like, just fucking trim it. And I was like, look, I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, all right, look, you're in the wrong. So now I got to go make nice. Right. So now, because it's my neighbor right behind me. I never knew these people. And if they're calling the cop, so now today was pouring out. Tomorrow after work, I'll go ring the bell and I'll apologize and make nice and all that bullshit. But I'm just like, she literally took the chainsaw and just.
Do you have to buy a new bush? Do you have to
Yeah,
replace
you
it?
buy him a new bush,
If
probably.
they need me to, I'll do that. But I was just like,
Fuck.
fuck.
That's like a fucking double whammy for a second. There you get excited. Your wife calls you going, hey, John, I'm trimming the bush. And you
Yeah,
get all
yeah,
excited. Then you get home and the cops are there.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I was just like, I got in the house. I was like, there's nothing left. You cut the whole thing out.
My mum did that.
They're never wrong, so they have to like justify it. They never take
My
care of
mum,
it.
my mum's neighbour was a bit snooty like that, but they're friends now. But a couple of years ago, their bushes were coming over my mum's, like growing over. So my mum got a ladder and started trimming them, and she went mad the first time. So mum's like, I'll go out later and I'll do it, and she won't know. So she went out, she started trimming with her big clippers, and she dropped them over the fence. So I'm like, well, now you got to go ask for your clippers. She's going to know you're fucking clipping the bush.
So now I got to go make nice. There's a bakery around the corner. Maybe I'll go buy pastries or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, and you find out they're a diabetic.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine
I was
that?
just going to say that. I was just going to say that.
Now they've cut our bush down. Now you want to fucking kill us with pastries.
I want to cut my foot off with high sugar.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
When the cop was there, did you get mad at your wife? Go, you see what I got to fucking live with? Honey, get in the fucking
No,
house.
I was trying to tell her to be quiet and shut
Oh.
up because she kept trying to justify what she did. And she was dead wrong. She literally took the ladder, climbed the ladder, went into their yard, and took the fucking chainsaw and cut the whole thing out.
Wouldn't you have liked the bush there anyway a little bit because it would have given you more privacy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's just we have the pool and it hangs over and all the shit goes in the pool. And
Yeah, but I mean the bit hanging over you can trim back, but then apart from that,
it basically pisses her off. So that's really. Anyway, I'll go there tomorrow after work and make nice and whatever.
Well, don't piss your wife off, John. Otherwise, you'll hear the chainsaw coming.
Oh shit! All right. So Jay, obviously last week was the Dorian's joining us. Look at this shit. Wow.
Wow, look at that.
Holy shit.
Whoa, what's
You're
up,
back
Dave?
from the
No
dead.
tea.
Look at this shit. What's up, Big Dorian?
I'm back.
What's
You
up,
look
man? How
tanned.
you
Where you
doing?
been? You been in the sun. You look nice and tanned up.
Yeah. Colorado Sun's treating me well, man.
Wow.
Good.
You're looking good, dude. Are you guys still working together for the Masters Olympia?
I've been working with Ariel Coots.
Who?
Ariel Coots.
Who's that?
He's Aaron Banks' coach. Aaron Banks just won last weekend.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. So Jay got fired.
No, he didn't get fired. My coach told me like 5 times before he died. He's like, if anything ever happens to me, work with this guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Okay.
I was just a plan B. I was just a plan B in case it didn't work out.
I'm going to keep him involved. Jason's
His brother writes
guy.
books, doesn't he? His
Thank you.
brother writes books.
Plan B, like that girl from Nutley, New Jersey. Did you see that video, Jay?
No.
It's blowing up all over social media.
What is
Dude,
it?
I've been fucking slammed like for the past week. I haven't had a chance to really.
It
Is it a girl with big titties? That's the only way to get your attention.
Yeah, no. She's got semi big titties. So there's this. It's blowing up everywhere. Now Nutley is like 10 minutes from me, right? I live right by there. This is fireman from Nutley, New Jersey, marries this girl. They have 2 kids, and apparently the guy found out she was fucking around with the landscaper.
Oh.
Right?
Your wife with the chainsaw.
Why didn't you hire her to trim those bushes? You would have had to save money on pastries.
Yeah. So the guy apparently set up a camera in the house because he was banging her in their house.
Oh.
Right?
Wow.
And all her text messages, I guess she doesn't realize, go over to the iPad because it's on the same account. So the guy has all the text messages, and the guy has video of him banging his wife in the house. So he waits till I think it was a birthday party. Like I think she threw him a surprise birthday, something like that. He waits the whole thing, and he does this whole thing. Gets a microphone. Thanks everybody. Blah blah blah. Thank you for everybody coming. I'm really moved that everybody's here, and I like to bring my lovely wife up. Brings his lovely wife up. He goes, "Oh, I got a surprise for you. Take your wedding ring off. Take your engagement. I got a surprise." So she's like, "Oh my god, I don't." She's thinking she's gonna replace it.
Getting a new one.
He gives it a ring. He's playing nice, and all of a sudden he just goes, "Fuck you, you fucking cunt! I know."
Oh, I did see that, dude. I saw that. That was in Nutley?
That was fucking Nutley, New Jersey, bro. It was 10 minutes from me. He's like ripped. He's like, I know.
She tried denying it at first.
What?
She tried denying it at first.
Of course, that's what they.
Did he
always-
play the video in front of everyone? Now did a video.
He actually said, he goes, she's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what
He
you're
got all
talking
the
about."
text messages he put up, right?
And then, yeah, I heard he put the text, and he goes, "If you want me to show everybody, I'll show everybody right now." Anyway, so one of her friends tried to defend her, slapped him in the face. He kicked everybody out on her side, and then he continued the party without them. It was blowing up all over fucking social media. But wow. But if you look at the girl, right? She dresses half naked. She's got her titties out, her ass out. She looks like a fucking, she looks like a hoa. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, if it looks like a snake and acts like a snake, whatever. Anyway, anybody has seen that, go watch it. It's
I would have played the video of her fucking him in the house. I would have put it all up. Go, here we go.
bro. Now now all the videos of like them like from their wedding and shit is up. Like now it's like going crazy. Anyway, all right, let's get on to bodybuilding, even though it's very difficult to stay on that topic with us for some reason. Continuation of the Pittsburgh Pro. Steve
I was
Weinberger.
way off on that one.
So was I. The guys who Lee called it and Luke called it. And they said Luke and Lee said Nick's gonna win. Well, he didn't win, but you know, a lot of people believe he should have won.
Dude, he could have won.
Yeah,
It's just an opinion of some judges. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, he could have won if you know. But Tyler Manning put a video up, but I think he put only a first part up. Then he put a second one. Steve Weinberger explained why they picked Derek. So we didn't get Dorian's opinion. So I want Dorian's opinion first before we get into what Steve and Tyler said. What did you think? Did you think it was robbery, Dorian, or did you think it was close?
Absolutely not. That's like Lee said. It's a subjective opinion. I think Nick was bigger and he had great conditioning. Derek was big, but not as big as Nick, but he had better aesthetics. What do you like better today, an apple or an orange? They were both really fucking good. So I don't think it was robbery by any means.
Yeah.
I think the nature of the sport, we see how like the politics plays into it. Usually guys who are Mr. Olympia kind of get a favorable judgment.
That's exactly what Lee said.
Arnold Classic champ, he's an Olympia champ. How do you differentiate the two? You know, I'm glad I wasn't the judge.
Go ahead, Jay. What do you think?
I mean, I think if Nick won, there wouldn't be anybody really upset about it.
I said that.
I think when they mentioned the factors of the posing, and I don't know why Nick was chewing gum on stage. That was
yeah.
That was a little off-putting, a little bit. But dude, Nick fucking looked good. I mean,
that's probably the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I really think Derek beat him in 2, maybe 3 poses. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
Derek's glutes were in better shape, and I don't know because I think I've seen Nick's glutes better.
Yeah,
but everything else on Nick was better. You know, in better shape, better conditioning than Derek. Derek has a better flow to his upper body, but Nick's legs look better.
Yeah.
Especially from the front. I mean, Nick's legs look much better than Derek's in the front. And again, like I said, I think if it went the other way, nobody really would have complained.
Yeah, right. Now, Lee, did you see what Steve Weinberger said?
No, I saw what Tyler said. I think even Tyler said he picked Nick.
He did.
He had Nick. And at the last show last year, he had, I think, Martin winning over. But the thing was, the reason I thought it was very close. Like I said, it could have gone either way. But the reason I thought they might have given it to Nick was because generally we see it. Derek wasn't as good as he was at the Arnold. His legs were down a bit. His conditioning wasn't the same. There's only a little bit off, but being that little bit off, sometimes we've seen it before, Jason, everyone's seen it, where if you come in and set a standard and you're not at that standard next show, they judge you down a bit because it's like, hey, we've seen you better. But in this case, they didn't do that. They still gave it to Derek when, like I said, his legs weren't as full. His legs looked like the Olympia when they were down a bit. Then the Arnold, they came back and now they're gone down again. So I just thought from that, not being as good as the Arnold, they would have given the nod to Nick because, you know, everyone's saying Derek's back in the rear double bicep. I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit wider in that shot, but it's called the rear double bicep. You got to look at everything. You got to look at the arms, you know, everything like that. Hold on, someone's trying to call. Yeah, go away. I hope they stop ringing in a minute. Stop calling.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Someone was trying to call me. They never call all morning. When I'm on the podcast, they fucking call. Yeah, so I thought I would have gone to Nick that way because, you know, when you saw him from the back, yes, you know, Derek had the more lines in the glutes, but you look at Nick's hamstrings, his adductors, his calves, his biceps, triceps, his delts, you know, so overall, I think, you know, that used to be Derek's best shot, but Nick was right there with him in that shot. Then, like I said, the side shots could go either way, but I think Nick was better in some, but they were saying how, didn't they say like his stomach came out a bit, which to me, if you're in a pose, when you're out there posing, if you stick it out then, okay, mark him down. But I think they put too much emphasis on it sometimes when guys are at the back relaxing, standing there to breathe a bit. As soon as you breathe out, someone goes, click, 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 click. Oh, look at his stomach sticking out. Like, you know, you got to relax at some point. You can't always be holding it in. So like I said, it's like I said on the other show. It's like, to me, they're both winners because Nick and Derek are both totally different. It's like a Lamborghini and a Ferrari. So someone's going to love the Lamborghini, someone's going to love the Ferrari. Now, if they're both Ferraris, then it's easier to pick the winner because this Ferrari might have a better paint job, better interior, the engine's cleaner. When you're judging two of the same things, but when they're totally different, to me, like I said, it was so close. They both, like I said, they're both winners, really. But I said it's just an opinion that gave one person the nod over the other. So
yeah, Steve Weinberger said that everybody had it tied up until that pose down, that last sudden death pose down, and he said that Derek was able to hold it together as far as his waist. Nick's waist started his stomach started to protrude a little bit, and that was basically the deciding factor. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the biggest surprise to me was. I knew Nick had a great back, but when we talk about Derek's rear double bye, especially like specifically his actual back, I know you got to look at the whole thing, but Nick was at just as good. I couldn't, but when you say Derek Lunsford's rear double bye, it's usually lights out, nobody touches it, it's over. But Nick, I could not believe how good his rear double bye was. He was really pushing Derek to the limit with that. I was like, "Why, you can give it to either one of them." That was just so fucking impressive. And Tyler apparently is putting out several parts to this video. He basically put out that he had Nick ahead and he had Martin ahead last year in New York Pro. But I don't know. Here's a question, Dorian. Derek's abs are good. They're not fantastic, right? Now, do you think it's that because if he diets down too much, he starts losing his legs? You think that's the problem? I mean, he comes in condition, he looks in great condition, but to come in that hottie condition or that Nick condition that he came in today, it doesn't look like Derek could do that because he seems to change his legs. Is that a possibility? He seems to lose his legs. Is that a possibility?
Are you talking about his abs or his legs or the whole pose, the abs and the thigh?
His legs in general. Like when he sucks down too much, like at the Olympia, it looks like he loses his legs.
Well, I think there's a point for any bodybuilder, and I'm a perfect example of this. If I push myself too hard and I take my calories too low, I flatten out. On top of that, if I do that for a course of several shows over time, my legs seem to just lose volume as time goes on. So I don't think Derek's really given himself any time to fill out again and potentially grow more mass in his legs to keep that volume there. I just think he's kind of burning the candle from both ends a little bit because he's competing as often as he is.
Okay.
So I think he's just kind of overtrained and overdieted.
What do you think, Jay?
I think it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's you want to suck down so you can be as ripped as humanly possible. And you walk a real fine line between flattening out and maintaining that real clear, crisp, visible muscularity, right? But then on the other hand, these guys want to fill out too much. And when they fill out, that's when you start taking in all the extra carbs, they pull water in, and that's when you start talking stomach distension. So they have to really find a happy medium between overcarbing and coming in a little flat, not flat enough where your legs are his legs at the Olympia looked like they were over dieted, maybe too much pounding on the Stairmaster, maybe too much activity. He could have backed off training them volume wise a little bit so they would have a little more, fuller look to them. They looked like they were over dieted, not like they were flat. And Nick also, that's why I think Nick looked better in the morning show because he was a little flatter and his waist was a little more streamlined. He probably ate a couple meals after prejudging to fill out a little more. And that's when you really start to see a little bit of a distension. And for guys like that, where you got to come in a little flat and you got to be careful with your meals. It's, one day you really got to fill out as much as possible. Then you want to almost starve yourself. When you get on stage, where your intestines are small, your stomach is small, and you maintain that taper, and you prevent yourself from having that distension or bloated stomach look.
All right. I want to move on to Martin because Lee brought up a good point on Monday when we were talking, and I want your guys' opinion on what Lee said.
That's very rarely does that.
You've been good recently, I gotta say. Well, tell them what you think about Martin. Remember that you said that everybody saw the pictures and he looked amazing.
Yes. Well, like I said, I think it's that I've always gone on about it, the peak week. I hate the word peak week or whatever because I never did. I just never did carb loading. If I look good, I just cut my water down the last week, tanned up and didn't do anything crazy. But, Fouad, Boss of Outlaw on that podcast like 2 weeks ago sent Fouad some photos and videos, and Fouad saying it's the best he's ever seen him. He was 8 to 10 pounds heavier, cross styrations, dry as anything. And they're saying, if he comes in looking like this, he's going to win. So why they fucked with it the last week and tried to carb him up too much. And because I said it would have been probably a different outcome because the way they were talking, it sounded like Martin was going to be pushing for the first or second place as well. So it was disappointing to see him spill over a bit and maybe carved up too much because, like I said, it's just a mental thing, isn't it? I find we all think as good as we looked that last week, it's like, I have to do something just to get a little bit tighter, a little bit fuller. And generally, you're going to hit it or miss it. It's never guaranteed. So that's why I never did it because I didn't want to blow 16 weeks of dieting just with a couple of days of, let me just try this. It's like, no. So that's why I'd always try and get ready a couple of weeks beforehand and experiment then with a bit of eating a bit more or something and then just see how I went. So it would have been, I said, the two biggest things to see would have been Martin there and good Vito. I think that would have been a bit more excitement and changed up a few of the call outs and placings maybe.
Now, Dorian, do you think that's what happened? Because Martin looked like he was holding a lay of water that he just couldn't get rid of.
Yeah, Martin wasn't his best.
Yeah.
I don't talk too much about Martin.
Oh. We could go to Jay if you don't want to talk about it.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, to me, Martin was a letdown, coming off a fourth place Olympia finish and expecting him to be.
He won the Prague Pro too.
Yeah. So he already got his qualification. But expecting him to stand with Derek and Nick again and to come up as short as he did, it looked like more to me than he just didn't peak right. I didn't see pictures of him before the show. I know people were raving that he was in shape, but
right.
I don't know if that's true, and who knows? It's based upon pictures. Anybody could look good by themselves in pictures, and when your cheerleaders are putting that out there that you're the best you've ever looked, all that remains to be seen. It definitely was a lackluster performance, and for somebody like him who's making a really strong name for himself, you expect more with his finishing touches to show up like that because he was a distant third.
Yeah, big time.
It wasn't like he was close in the running, like he was off.
I wouldn't have been. I thought they were going to give third to Bonac, to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
But he did look like he spilled. Martin did look like he spilt over.
Well, they positioned Bonac in a couple spots where he could be third.
Yeah,
but they were moving him around.
Yeah, he did look like he spilt over. Like he had a little. Good.
Yeah, and I'm just surprised Martin could either do two things. It's only a week later, I'd go to New York and try redeem myself and get in the condition of these photos and videos. Or if you're not going to do that, these videos and photos that everyone saw, post them and say, this is how I looked the week before or something.
Yeah,
so people can get an idea and go, oh shit, if he had to look like that. So there's no harm in posting them now that the show's over. Yes, he wanted to hide them beforehand, but post them now and say, shit, this is how I was looking 2 weeks out.
The Instagram photos, though, like, it's so strange. Like when you saw Nick's progress pics on Instagram the week before the show, you're like, oh, right. And you see Crizzo's progress pics the week before the show, you're like, holy shit. Then they go on stage and it's like Crizzo's in fifth. Nick blows everybody away. It's amazing. Like, you really can't go by the photos on IG.
Crizzo on Instagram's like how Dennis James used to be in a tank top. Dennis James would look like he could win the Olympia. You're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And when he got on stage, you're like, what happened?
You got to realize that it doesn't matter what anybody looks like a week or two. I remember, Victor Martinez, dude, before he really learned his body, dude, I used to train with him up in Washington Heights. dude, you'd see him 3 weeks out. He looked like he was in his off season. Like, I'm not kidding. That's how much water he used to hold. And then he's fucking shredded the day of the show.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter. It's how you prepare the last couple days. Some people's bodies retain water more than others. Some people get hard. Like Dave Palumbo, did the guy was ripped 365 days out of the year, no matter what he ate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there was no getting out of shape for Dave. Other people, but learning how to peak and even guys that we've seen at their best. Okay, this is how difficult it is to peak. Even guys that we see that win the show. Hey, they won the show. It's the best they've ever looked. But dude, that might not have been the best they've ever been on that prep. They might have looked better the day before or the day after or 6 hours before. Like it's because your body is just too intricate. It changes constantly. And sometimes, dude, sometimes it just doesn't cooperate with you. You could put everything on paper, but it doesn't mean your body's going to respond that way,
That's what I tell people too. I say you could go into a show and be the best you've ever looked, and you got the diet there, so you figure, next show I'm going to follow the same diet. And then as the show gets close, you're like, fuck, I'm not looking like I did last time. I'm doing the same diet,
Something
I'm
happened.
the same gear. And so every time you think if you found the secret thing that got you in shape, you could just do it again. But each time you got to make changes and changes and changes. It never works the same twice.
Now, one more question before we go on to the New York Pro. Dorian, I wasn't at the Pittsburgh Pro, but I heard the fans were overwhelmingly for Nick, and Derek got booed off the stage. Why? To me, Derek's not an unlikable guy at all. Why do you think Nick is such a fan favorite?
Well, it kind of reminds me of like what was going on when Phil started coming up the ranks. Phil kind of was the underdog for a minute, and people were on his side. Then as he started to gain popularity, and kind of like acting like he's like unstoppable and like he's the part. It's like, okay, now people want to see Phil get beaten.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of the same thing with Derek. He's got this like real clean cut attitude, real clean cut look, poster boy for the entire organization. And Nick's kind of this guy who's been hungry, and people have seen his work ethic and they want to see him succeed. So the fans are letting him know.
Yeah. I think it goes beyond his work ethic though, because I was dead wrong. And I'll admit that I was wrong about Nick. I was questioning his work ethic because he backed out of last year's Olympia. We didn't know why. He got hurt the year before of the Olympia, so he backed out of that one. He did the New York Pro. He won, but he wasn't at his best. So when he backed out of this year's Olympia, or last year's Olympia rather, I started questioning his work ethic. There's got to be a good reason why you pull out of the Olympia. I mean, so but people still love him, like unbelievable, fucking love him. It's unreal. Like I had so many. We did, Lee. We did that video together on Monday, and it did pretty good for my channel. I got almost 1,500 views or something like that, right? You have to see the comments that it was robbery, Nick won all day, Derek soft, but just shitting on Derek and praising Nick. And I'm like, wow. Like I almost started questioning myself. Is it me? Am I fucking blind? I don't holy shit. It's unfucking, but
I think too, half of it, like you said, because Nick hasn't been, he's missed the last couple of Olympias. I think a lot of people are excited to see Nick come back, and seeing him come back looking probably the best he's looked. Everyone got excited. So I think that's why everyone's behind him. And he's from up that way. He's in that area.
Yeah, Nick's an East Coast guy, dude. And he's from like South Jersey, Philly area. So not to take anything away, because Nick's popularity is through the fucking roof, dude. Everybody, but you have Derek coming from the other side, West Side against East.
Oh yeah.
No, we're not throwing gang signs up, but Derek also, as wholesome as he seems, after he lost that Olympia to Hadi, and it looked like there was a little unsportsmanship there. I don't know if that carried weight, but did you hear Chris Comair, his interview about Derek because he trained him? Lee, did you hear it?
Yeah, I
No,
did.
no.
Yeah, we talked about it. He said that he didn't want to. He wasn't. He had
He's like,
difficult.
dude, he's like, I'm pushing him to train, and I expected a lot more from him. He was, sucking wind and not giving. It's like, oh my god! He's like, dude, we're just fucking starting. Like, holy shit!
Yeah. I was like, it's kind of rough questioning Derek Lunsford's work ethic because he won the Olympia, because he won the Arnold Classic, because he won a 212 Olympia.
FTS7.
What?
FTS7. That's why.
What does that mean?
That's
Oh,
Harney's special
Oh,
program.
really?
Actual
And then I was
fashion.
like, talk about somebody, Chris Cormier, like basically was high 7 days a week when he was, But who knows? I don't know. But it's kind of hard to question his work ethic if he wins, like he wins. So
Well, no, actually, it's not because
no?
there's guys that people used to question Flex Wheeler's work ethic, and there was nobody who was gifted a more perfect physique than Flex Wheeler.
Flex
Yeah.
on the treadmill
Okay.
used to be almost walking backwards because I'd
Yeah.
be beside him at a good speed. And Flex
So you
is
really
just like,
think Derek's fucking genetics are that good that he could put
But
in
you don't look like that unless you have
he could put in like maybe
exceptional
85%.
genetics, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a possibility. I never
It's
thought
not,
of it.
and dude, I know guys that take as much gear as anybody, and they don't look like that.
No,
You know what I
definitely
mean?
not. Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. Let's see.
where did Dorian go?
I don't know. He disappeared. I guess he had enough of us. He went, fuck this, I'm leaving. um,
I got contest prep on. Bye.
yeah,
We're we're an acquired taste.
yeah, exactly. All right, New York Pro. Did you guys see what Nick looked like doing back today? Did you see him on
Oh,
Instagram?
doing the bar.
Holy shit. Look at this. Did you see it, Jay?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's just show everybody because this is
I
fucking
can't remember fucking 10 minutes ago. I did not.
this is unbelievable. Nick.
He looks good there doing the crossovers.
Yeah.
Looks different the last time I saw him, but
This was this was insane. Jesus Christ. Like he's got that grainy fucking hard dense muscle.
and I said I like when guys put up stuff like this, but I said with social media today, if I was getting ready for a show, I'd put up photos looking the worst ever. So so your competition's thinking, fuck Lee, he's not in shape, he's not looking good. Every photo I put up, I'd be bad lighting, stick the stomach out a bit, just to give him a false sense and turn up on the day looking incredible.
Yeah, he just looks fucking magnificent. He just looks unbelievable.
You know what that reminds me of? Did you ever see those? Jay's probably seen them. Remember they used to do, it wasn't the battle for it was Road to the Olympia where Diane Bennett do those videos. I remember before the drug-free one, Mike Christian was doing that same exercise in Gold's Gym in his back and shoulders, and Mike Christian's just rolling away, and his fucking delts and back just looked massive.
Yeah. I tell you, man, as far as a freak, he is the freakiest bodybuilder. Oh, unbelievable. Now, obviously, everybody's talking about Regan Grimes.
Yes.
I looked at. I mean,
I'm just going to pee. He's always hit and miss though with his condition.
I know. This was 2 days ago. I don't think anybody's touching Nick at this contest. I think it's going to be a blowout. Period. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I like Regan, dude. He's got beautiful shape and but he has yet to hit his peak, and he's fucking with Nick coming off a performance like he just had, dude. Nobody's touching Nick in this show.
Yeah, I don't think. I think.
Regan could do well, dude. I don't know. The rest of the lineup is okay.
Right.
I'd love to see Martin in there again and see a good battle.
I don't know what Martin's plans are because Martin already qualified for the Olympia, so he might just wait for the Olympia, or he might do a show toward the end of the year. Who knows? Dorian, while you're here, we looked at Nick. And do you think Regan's going to give Nick any trouble at all at this New York Pro?
I don't know what to say, man. Reagan's one of those guys. He's got a wonderful structure and he's big.
Yeah.
But it's kind of look how Crizzo stacked up in this lineup over here. in Pittsburgh. It
Right.
was like short guys, then the tall guys.
Right.
So I can see Bonac kind of having more of a throwdown with Nick than Reagan.
I was thinking the same thing, man.
Awesome. He's got a wonderful shape, but I don't think he can ever match Nick's conditioning.
I would have to pick Bonac as coming in second. But
I
it's
reckon
going to be
Sass or Bonac too.
oh
'cause
yeah,
Sass-
but I think it's
Sass
going
is
to be a
conditioned.
far second, to be honest with you, man. I don't think anybody's touching Nick in the show.
I think Nick first. I reckon second and third could be Sass and Bonac, and then maybe Regan in fourth or fifth.
not Sass and Bonac. They're half the size of Nick. Nick made Bonac look like a child on that stage. I didn't realize how much bigger he was than Bonac. I mean, he just so much bigger than fucking Bonac. It was unbelievable. But let's look up Sass, see if he because then we also have that new guy who's making his debut. What's his name? This was 2 weeks ago. All right, whatever. Yeah, I mean, listen, Sass is a great bodybuilder, but I don't think he's going to be able to touch Nick at the show. I just don't. No, it's not going to happen. Now, one guy who is a dark horse.
What about that other guy? It's his name, Kenny. What's his name? The black guy, Kenny. Someone. He looks pretty good.
Exactly. Colossal Ken. That's him.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I've been seeing him lately. He looks good, dude. I don't know.
He's making his pro debut.
Yeah.
This was today. This was this morning, 9 hours ago.
The two tallest ones would be Crizzo and Regan in the show, wouldn't they? Everybody else is sort of shorter.
Yeah. I don't know how tall Ken is. Colossal Ken.
He's not too tall. 5'7", maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he might be able to match Nick with size, but I don't think he's going to be able to come into shape that Nick.
I don't think he has that mature muscle look.
Exactly. Yet. He's a young guy, and this is his pro debut. You know, if he breaks the top 5, that's impressive for this guy. But Nick is running away with this show. I honestly will never underestimate Nick again.
Nick, do not train heavy this last week.
I think just go.
Don't fuck around.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate when I see guys last week. Like, I remember Hardy was squatting 6 or 7 plates. So I'm like, why? The week before the Olympia, you're not going to lose any leg size. It's like, don't do it.
Who else is in this show? Those are the biggest names we got.
It's not even. I don't think it's a huge lineup either.
No,
I think
it's not.
10,
10 or 12. Is it 10 or 12?
Let me see if RX put it up.
There was a list. I did see the list come up yesterday.
Yeah, the list came out. Let's see if they're. We put a list up.
Pull up their pages, John, so you can go. Nah, looks like shit. So you can get more people to unfollow you.
yeah. I just don't have the list of who's going to be on. Let me see if it's in the stories.
Can you send it to?
No, not New York Pro.
Hey, did you see the new Superman preview came out today?
Yeah, I'm not really.
I didn't see the new one. I saw the old one. I'm not digging it, dude.
Yeah, I give anything a chance. It's like I love Henry.
Oh yeah, it's Superman. I'm gonna watch it, but
this guy looks like a younger Henry. But this storyline looks pretty good with the different characters. But it must be different because on the preview, he's out at the farm and like his mum and dad are at the farm, and he's in a rush to go somewhere. She's like, "Oh, it's a good thing I just cleaned your boots." So, but I'm thinking in the original movie when he was Superman, his dad had already died. So, because remember he left the farm and went to the Fortress of Solitude, but this time he's already got the suit when he's on the farm with the parents.
Right.
It's just that in the Superman's supposed to be saving the animals. Like, remember he saves a cat out of the tree.
Oh yeah.
And now a dog is saving his ass from getting his ass whipped. I'm just like, well, that doesn't look like Superman to me. That looks like mediocre man at best.
It's Crypto. It's not just any dog.
I get it, but he got his ass whipped. And they downsized him. He looks like it's like, oh man, Henry Cavill.
I've got that new suit. I should have wore it today for the show.
You should have wore it. Dorian, you watch any of these superhero movies?
Man, I haven't had time to watch TV. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been busy, bro.
I hear you, man.
Has anyone seen the Thunderbolts? I've heard mixed reviews.
I heard it stuck.
Any good? Is it?
Dude, it was good.
Was it
Yeah,
really?
that's what I'm thinking, because I like to watch movies just
I
for
heard it was
escape.
really bad, but well, then again, it doesn't really matter. I know
So,
it didn't. I know it didn't make money at the box office, so maybe it was good.
yes, it did.
No, I understand that it did not make what they were expecting it to make.
I think people look for hidden meanings, or they expect it to be exactly like a comic book. I like to go in with no expectations. If it
I just
entertains me, I'm happy. I don't
I just
care.
think people aren't going to the movies anymore.
So it was definitely better than a lot of the shit
Yeah.
that Marvel has put out. Was it the
Really?
best Marvel movie? No, but it was good. It was
It
entertaining.
was entertaining. I
And
just
that's
think
be
people
better than
aren't
that.
going to the movies anymore. Because
What was that
why
Marvel
go
one
to the
where they had
movies
the
when the
girls?
fucking movie's gonna be on Netflix in a week or Paramount in a week or something like that? It's like, why, I could just sit
What's
home
that
and watch
movie
it.
that had the girls in it, where it had what's her name as the girl with the star on her chest? Who was she in the other movie? But then they made it Captain Marvel. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
remember Captain Marvel on TV was a guy when I was younger. Billy would stand in front of the van and go Shazam, and he'll turn into Captain Marvel.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, but they made that second one with her and the two girls, and they were multicultural type characters, and they reckon have just flopped.
They should have a black crippled trans superhero and just that's it.
Remember
That's
Handyman?
yeah. Yeah. That's right. Handyman on what was the name of that? In Living Color. Remember that, Dorian?
He was all torn up.
Yeah. Yo,
Oh, that
that
was great.
that
That's
show
when,
is hilarious.
that's when TV used to be real TV, dude.
If anybody doesn't remember Handyman, let's just fucking see if we can
Yeah,
look
you
it
could
up.
have them, but they'd just look normal in their chair. They could have their glasses on like Clark Kent, looking like a normal person. But when they change, they turn into a superhero, and their chair becomes this supersonic fucking vehicle.
Dude, you got to find it on YouTube. You're not going to find it on Instagram.
No, it's not going to be on Instagram. Yeah, I guess not. I
But
guess
is your character, when he's not in character, is he like, but when he
Yeah.
comes superhero, he goes, come on, let's go get the bad guys. He suddenly talks normal.
whatever. It doesn't
Superman wears glasses and they can't fucking recognize the prick, as if you couldn't recognize him just with glasses on.
Yeah.
There was one meme or video, and it was in Italian actually, and it was supposed to be like Superman, but the kid had Down syndrome, and he's flying, and they're all the Italians are waving like save us, save us. There's a bomb that's gonna go off, and he goes over to the bomb, and he's trying to figure it out, and he just hits a button, and the whole place explodes. Anyway,
I remember being at a cinema, and this would have been, oh shit, when did they ever do that commercial? I think it was a Super Bowl commercial as well, where had Christopher Reeve come out in the wheelchair that he had, where he controlled it by his mouth, but then he stood up and walked.
did he really?
Yeah, well, it's just all done by animation type thing,
Oh.
just showing that with, getting into stem cells, one day he can walk. And I remember someone in the crowd goes, big fucking deal. 20 years ago, the cunt could fly. Now he can only walk.
You know what, man? I mean, I know it's our generation, but Christopher Reeve was just, to me, he was like the perfect Superman.
What about George Reeve, the TV show? I still like George Reeve.
Yeah, it was before my time. I didn't watch that shit.
Used to run and just check out the window onto a mattress.
George Reeves or Steve Reeves?
No, George Reeve was the TV guy, and Steve Reeves was in the movie.
Was the bodybuilder? Yeah, that's
and
right.
in this movie, the new Superman movie, the guy interviewing Superman is actually Steve Reeves' son.
Blowjob Reeves.
No, because he's a reporter on NBC News, I think, in America. So he's actually got a cameo in the movie interviewing Superman.
Oh, very cool. All right, Dorian, I want to know how your prep is going, and when is the Masters Olympia?
That's been going pretty well. My high weight in the off season was 281.
Damn.
This morning I was about 255.
Really?
It's really interesting because I've never eaten this much carbs on a diet ever.
Yeah.
How much you on? How many a day you on roughly?
It's 100 grams of carbs.
How much?
600 to 700 grams of carbs.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, good. I never went lower than 250. I couldn't go any lower. I tried the low carb once and never again.
Yeah, that's always worked for me. It's like I quit eating carbs and I get lean. So we're just really moderating the fats and just trying to eat the same foods every single day. And I'm in a deficit. I'm losing weight and I'm getting crispy looking. But I've been doing this 3 weeks and 2 days now. And we're 12 and a half weeks out from the Masters O.
You must feel pretty good if you're eating that many carbs.
Yeah, it's, and, I get my lows in a different way. It's like as soon as I run out of energy from the carbs, it feels like somebody pulls the rug out from under you.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think one thing that's really helping me is we've lowered the fats. Fats are your slowest digesting nutrient. We've lowered the protein. Protein is also not so quick digesting.
Yeah.
And what that's done to my waist already, being 12 and a half weeks out, I'm just not as thick through the midsection because I don't have as much food packed in me. I rip through those carbs and my waist is staying tight.
That's fantastic, man. And how
Do
much
people
cardio
still
are you
add?
doing?
Do people still add fats? Like, remember, it used to be MCT oils, and then it was cooking with different oils, and then having avocados. And that, because when I dieted, I never added any fat. All the fat I got was whatever steak I'm eating, whatever chicken I'm eating, whatever
Lee,
natural fats in the food.
Lee, you could have ate dog shit
No,
and
I
you would have
couldn't.
been
I
you would have
couldn't. I
been
had to watch
fucking Lee
my.
Priest.
I
Like
had to do. I
seriously,
did 2 or 3 hours cardio a day because I
your
like to eat.
genetics
So
were
rather than
so freaky. Like you could literally wait.
no,
Tell this. What was the story? What show was it when you ate? How many was it? Oreo cookies?
no, that was before the Night of
Oh no,
Champions.
no, 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 no. The Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh yeah, that was like a week before the '98 Olympia.
Tell the story about the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I just was hungry. I was doing a photo shoot with David Paul, the boxing bag picture ones and all that. But before the photo shoot, I said, pick me up from Max Muscle. And when he got there, I had a bucket of Kentucky and I was eating the whole thing. He's like, you eating that before the photo shoot? You have a contest in a week? I'm like, yeah, so what? All I had was the Kentucky chicken. I didn't have any carbs, so it was just protein and fat.
How many people could actually do that and fucking look like Lee
Yeah,
Priest?
but I'm doing 2 to 3 hours of cardio a day every day.
Yeah, yeah.
They just burn it off. And I knew I was going to have a big photo shoot with him all day, and that'd probably be the only meal I have all day. So
You gotta
I was
eat
okay.
something, So okay,
I
how much
justified
cardio are you
anyway,
doing, Dorian?
25 minutes, 4 days, 5 days a week.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
So, well, whatever. Something's working. That's for sure. Who do you know? I know what's his name is doing it this year. Phil Clahar. Have you spoken to him?
Not a lot, but just kind of we communicate a little bit through Instagram. We
Yeah.
close.
How's he looking? Have you seen him?
He stays pretty covered up.
Yeah, he does. That's right. He does. Yeah.
No, there's a couple guys. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's got great wheels. I was kind of worried that Brandon Curry was going to be competing in it.
Not.
Organizers of the show and the promoters and whatnot, and they say he's not doing it. So I don't know. Maybe some people can jump in by winning the Chicago Pro qualifier or the Tampa Pro qualifier and potentially jump in. But I think that's the last opportunities to get into the show. Outside of that, I think I'm sitting in a great position to do very, very well. And
It
this
seems that way. If the
Is
yeah.
Kamal doing it? I heard there was rumors, but is he or not? No.
I don't know.
I think Dorian's right. I think it's going to be last minute. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
You
Bonac is
should be
doing
able to do last minute. You got to have it in beforehand. You just can't jump in last minute. You got to have it in like everybody else. That's how it should be or it used to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can qualify at Chicago. Kind of, for some reason, I thought I heard they can qualify and do the Masters Olympia if you do those last couple qualifying shows.
Like I honestly would not be surprised. Bonac is doing more shows than I've ever seen. I would not be surprised if he jumps in the Masters Olympia, because he's for some. I'm thinking. I mean, I might be wrong. I'm thinking this is last year because he's not stopping competing. He's competing so much. He did the Arnold Classic, right? He did the Detroit Pro, which he won. He did Pittsburgh, and now he's doing New York. Could it be that this is his final year? Because usually he doesn't do this many shows.
Is he going to do those? Is he going to do all those? Because isn't there there's at least 5 shows just a week apart? Is he going to continue on and do all of them? Or?
I don't know. You know what? Maybe he's thinking it's a paycheck. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. What do you think, Jay? You think that's a possibility or what?
Yeah, anything's possible. I don't know.
Did you do that when you knew you were retiring? Did you just do as many shows as you can, or did you just like, I'm done?
I was done.
Because it just seems I wouldn't be surprised if he's like decides that he's going out on top, do as many shows as he could, collect as much money as he can, and the Olympia be his last show. I would not be surprised if he jumps in the Masters Olympia because he's doing every other goddamn show, and he's got sponsors.
And
What'd you say, Dorian?
because we're still what 8 weeks out from Chicago Pro,
Yeah.
9 weeks out from Tampa, or 12 weeks out from Tampa Pro, something like that, 11 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, to maintain the condition that he's in for that long after doing what, 4 shows in a row,
Yeah.
coming out of the Olympia, that'll be tough on him. If he did it, I'd be impressed. I'd be.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
It is a long time. It's like Jay said, we've all been there when you start. I remember I did like 4 shows, and on the 5th show, my body was just like, nope. I did more cardio. I was cutting my calories down, and I wasn't getting harder. My body was just like, had enough. Stop. So I did. It's like,
Yeah. Why does that happen, Jay? Why does your body just? What is it about your body that just gives up after, so many shows?
So it depends. There's guys that did it that competed all year round and it didn't affect them, and they would usually get better from one show to the next. And those are guys like Lee used to come down from a heavy weight in the off season, so his body. You'd get up to what, 280, almost 300 pounds sometimes.
285 was my heaviest.
Yeah, so
fluid, by the way.
So that's rough on your system, but for other guys who stay close to contest weight year round, learning to peak from 1 week to the next, it's just a matter of water and sodium manipulation. So it's not as taxing on your body as somebody who has to do 3 hours of cardio a day and they're physically exhausted from that, so it's different. Bonac, he might be one of those guys where he doesn't get too heavy and it doesn't affect him. But the leaner you could stay year round, for guys that are looking to make money and make a name for themselves in the sport and build a following, the more you compete, the more opportunity you have to build that following. So, the leaner they stay in the off season, the easier it'll be and the less taxing it is on your body, in each show preparation. Cutting out your water and drying out like that, that's the easy stuff. But sometimes, when your body's had enough, like, you just don't respond, that happens too.
That's why I'm wondering whether Bonnick, if he done, because like I said, I think the next shows there's 5 of them just a week apart. If he stayed in shape and did every show, by the time to the end of them, it's really only 4 to 5 weeks before the last 2 shows that he has to go in. So it seems like if you can keep busy doing that, it's not as bad as having to sit there for 10 weeks waiting, doing nothing. If you're competing every weekend, it keeps you busy, keeps your mind going, rather than go, oh, fuck, I've got to hold this for 10 weeks doing nothing. Then you go, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I could see that happening. But yeah, listen, man, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last year and he's going out with a bang. I really wouldn't. But
if you're already qualified too, sometimes that can take the wind out of your sails because you're like, I'm already qualified. So yeah, but
if you're
still going for the qualification, then you're more amped up. But once you got it, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to be his attitude though. He won Detroit, and now he's did Pittsburgh, and he looked great in Pittsburgh, except that he just went up against Nick and Derek.
He's almost like the new version of Dexter, just doing shows and coming in shape.
Yeah, right. You think that has something to do with it? You think the fact that he's a smaller bodybuilder enables him to just stay in shape and not, I don't know how to say it, not spill over or whatnot like the bigger guys can? No, that's not.
It doesn't matter. Your fat storing process is no different if you're 6 foot or 5'5". It's your body stores fat the same way.
Okay, all right. Because I've seen I don't know. I'm trying to think of guys who did too many shows and then their body just looks tired. Off the top of my head, I can't really think. I know in Justin Rodriguez's prime, that would happen to him. I'm trying to think of other guys that kind of would love to do shows and then they just got exhausted and too tired or their body looked drained. Who comes to mind? Dorian, who comes to mind that happens to? Well, how many shows did you do last year?
Last year, 4.
You did 4. You did New York. What else did you do?
Cali, Tampa. I did 5.
Okay.
Texas, than the Daytona Beach Pro.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, and that's how you qualify it. All right. Oh shit. All right. I hope Regan brings a good package.
Me
So
too.
at least it'll bring some excitement.
And Regan's one of those guys too. He's actually, if you see him in person, he's much more impressive in person than in photos because he's actually, like I said, being what he's 6 foot, is he, or a little bit over 6 foot? So
yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah. I hope he brings a good package because I would like to see, because he's got all the bells and whistles, he's got all the wheels and everything he needs to be a good bodybuilder. So I really like to see him come into his own and look good on New York Pro. As I don't think anybody's beating Nick. I don't think anybody's touching Nick. But if he could be impressive and then he could go on to Cali or Toronto or something like that and get his qualification, that would be even more exciting for the sport. Because now you have a young Regan Grimes who's also coming into his own. There's a lot of guys left that just haven't qualified yet. A lot of young guys.
Yeah. I'm just surprised, like Martin and a few of the others aren't doing New York. It's just a week after Pittsburgh in the area. Why you wouldn't just keep it together and go into the New York show? Because, like I said, when the Night of Champions used to be around, you can't beat a New York crowd. Jay will tell you, like they just go nuts. So just doing that show and the name, like back in the day, it used to be the Arnold, the Olympia, and the Night of Champions. They were like the 3 big shows,
Yeah.
But now it seems like it's going to be Pittsburgh, Arnold, and the Olympia. That's what it seems like.
I think Steve was slowly, bring up the New York show. The prize money was slowly come. Oh, it's come up a bit more this year. I think it was slow.
That's probably why he's not doing it, right? Because you're going from 100 grand first place to 30 grand.
If the New York Pro gets up to 100,000, you'll have them all going from one to the other. To the next.
Yeah. That's probably why he's not doing it. Because what's second place in Pittsburgh was what, 50 grand?
I don't know.
I think it was.
I think it was. Because I think someone said it about because Nick would have got 50. I think they said
Yeah. And second place in what in New York is what, 15?
Hey. Back in the day, it was 10 to win a show when Jay and I were competing. You get 10 grand to win. Second place was $4,000 at the Ironman.
We're happy to get it.
It wouldn't even cover your wouldn't cover your chicken breast.
No, not at all.
What was that was great when Dorian won Daytona. How much did they give you?
$2 million.
$2 million.
$200.
That's
Really? 200?
Fucking believable.
Oh, it's like
what other show is really paying out? And I think kind of the IFBB is limiting how much they can actually pay out because the Dubai Pro pays out.
Yeah, Dubai pays out good. Yeah.
I heard they're going up again. Next show, they're going to go up a bit more again.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of guys. I can't believe all they gave you was $200.
It's like that was embarrassing. That'd be embarrassing to give to someone. I'd be like, what?
They could have made a collection and gave them $500 the day. Give me a break.
Buy your dinner. Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
It wouldn't even cover fucking your tanning.
What was the lowest purse you ever got, Jay, for winning a show?
Dude, I took 4th in the Olympia and got $2 grand. I mean, that's pretty.
Nah, that does suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I got 5th at the Olympia in '97, I think it was 25. I got back then. Yeah. No, 15. It was 25 because then I got moved down and I got 15.
Yeah, they changed. Talking about the 202, right?
The show,
right, Jay? You're talking about the 202.
Yeah.
What about you, Lee? What was the lowest prize money for winning a show that you won, Jay?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I didn't win. I've never won a pro show.
Really?
No.
Oh man.
Mine was all 10. I think. Then when I won the NOC in England and New York, it was 15, but every other one was 10,000.
Yeah, that was like the go-to giveaway prize money back then, and didn't change for years. It was 10 grand for all the.
Yeah.
Like Jay said, if you got an envelope and you had a check for $2 grand or more, you were so excited. It's like if you buy scratches or the lotto, you've probably spent 50,000. The day you win 500 back, you're like, I fucking won 500. You spent 50 grand to get 500.
Yeah, right. Nobody will top the $200 from Daytona. I mean that is just unfucking believable. Like $200 in a
like,
trophy.
did you leave a zero off this check? Whatever.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Did they give it to you in quarters, or did they give it to you?
Talk about, I mean, really, they can't even give you 500, like 200
They took
bucks.
Dorian. They took Dorian out to the car and said, "Hold on, we've got to get the change out the ashtray. Hold on, not 198."
Yeah, right. You win a pro show, you get that's just pathetic. But whatever, it is what it is.
It's sad. Actually, we can't compare it to other sports when you see a guy sitting on a bench making 180,000, he doesn't even go on the court or go out and swing a bat. You're like, fuck, I chose the wrong sport.
200 is insulting. Like anybody can come up with $1,000.
I wouldn't have given any. I would have just given a nice trophy and a medal. To give 200, I'd be like, well,
really, that's insulting. It's like, you're right. You're better off just giving a trophy and a medal. Yeah, unreal. All right, guys.
Here's a gift voucher to McDonald's as well.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Listen, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I might be at the New York Pro. I was definitely going to go, but
you should go and do some interviews and stir things up.
I should actually. The only thing is, we're on watch duty with my mother. That's the whole thing.
Take your mother with you.
Yeah.
She'll love it.
Yeah, my mother wound up in the hospital this past weekend.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. She's 90, and so we were in the hospital all weekend. So
asking about the breasts and that, Jay.
I can't. Oh no, don't. I can't. Oh. I take me and my brother take my mother home, and
it's happening again. The sexual assault's happening again.
She still has the EKG stickers on her, you know.
Oh yeah.
And they never took them off when they released her from the hospital. So my brother says, lay down, and my brother lifts his shirt so I could take the fucking EKG stickers off. And I saw my mother's 90-year-old tit. I almost threw up. I was like, I couldn't take those things off fast enough. I was like, oh.
You should be happy she got the 90. Hey, that's a good innings getting the 90.
Yeah.
90. Yeah, well, she'll be 90 in June. Yeah. Wow. Anyway. All right, fellas. Thank you very much. That'll do it. Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. Later, people.
Boy.
See you later.